Some uncertainty regarding where interest rates are headed. Traders noting that the bond market has not been as active as it's been in the recent past. Are we starting to see some shifts in asset allocation at the moment?
Good morning, Alicia. Thanks for having me. Yes, I think we've been seeing some kind of seesaw activity between the equity market and the money markets. We've been having the debt market not doing so well, and as attention has actually shifted more to the equities. But I think looking forward and also looking at the secondary bonds market, it's not that bad. I mean, if you look at the second quarter of this year compared to the first quarter and maybe last year, we would see the turnover was much lower last year. So I think moving forward and moving to the last quarter of this year between now and December, I think it will pick up slowly. And we have even seen blueprints underway for even an education bond for the higher learning. And if these plans materialize, we might see more appetite for the debt market.
Well, talking about appetite, we've heard that members of the Kenya Association of Stockbrokers and Investment Banks are on a roadshow in an investment expo in London to woo Kenyans in the diaspora to actually invest in the Kenyan markets as well. What kind of participation are you seeing from that quarter already? And, you know, to what kind of targets are these stockbrokers and investment banks associations targeting?
I think they have seen a gold mine in the diaspora, and I think it's true. Most of these clients pump in a lot of money here. We've had a lot of foreign direct investment other than that, and I think it's a very good move. And we've also seen these brokerage firms and investment banks record some very good profits compared to the last year and the year before when there was a slump. We've had the likes of Standard Investment Bank, the likes of Kestrel give triple-digit growth and so on. So I think it's a move to tap on a market that is that has a lot of potential, and I think this will reduce risk aversion as more people move into the equities.
Well, we're all too aware of the positives that are about, supportive of the market right now. Economic growth is chief amongst those factors. Any red flags that need to be paid just as much attention, Robert?
Red flag to... Well, I'm thinking the greatest hurdle we have right now is inflation. To me, I think that's the problem we're dealing with. Looking at the economy, looking at the projections, some analysts have said between 4.5 and 5% growth in coming months, coming year. Looking at the stock market, which is not an indicator of the real economic status of the country, I think things are still positive and things will get better. If there are any red flags here, I would say maybe looking at inflation, it's gone up a bit over the past 1 month. Consumer price index also is a bit worrying. We've had most of the basic of goods used by everyday Kenyans increase in value. For example, 2 weeks ago, we had the price of bread hiked, and I think and also we've had fuel worries, because fuel is a fundamental commodity used by everybody. So I think these are the red flags, if there be any.
Well, taking a look at some of the kind of participation we've been seeing in the market, we've been seeing within the equity space, banks are specifically switching to industrial stocks. What's your take on that space of the market right now, the industrial segment?
That is a sector that's growing, and it's growing with the growing economy. We've seen a lot of building and construction, and if you look at the corresponding stocks that deal with such materials like the cement stocks, they're also growing and they're doing really well. We saw yesterday Athi River Mining as one of the top gainers, hitting 179 shillings per share, a stock which was barely a year ago retailing at 100 shillings. So we can see a lot of room for growth, and we can see a lot of activity in the industrial sector and also the utility sector. Again, KPLC was also recorded yesterday as one of the top gainers. We've seen a lot of money from well-wishers, donors, giving us aid to put into our geothermal potential. And all this meshed together offer something good for the economy.
Well, just looking at Athi River Mining, I mean, you've highlighted that just under a year ago we had that price sitting at 100 shillings. It's now sitting at 179. What are you making of current valuations? Is it looking fairly priced or a bit overpriced at this stage?
I would not say it's overpriced, because looking at the progression over the past few months, it's a sound progression. But still, I would look at it more of, if someone is willing to invest in such a stock, it's really expensive. By all means, it's at a new high. So getting in now may be for long term, or for someone who has an outlook of cashing in much later. But even so, I think this price can even get higher, and that also shows that it's not overpriced. We could see it go over the 200 shilling mark very soon.